Hello. It's been a while. I have not gone live literally in forever, but I am here to talk to you guys about fragmented coaching. So I hope you guys have been well. I hope that your school years are just going fantastic. I'm so excited. I was supposed to do this at 7, but I'm here early because, listen, y'all, I got things to do. So I figured, let me go ahead, get online, get this started, and we'll see how things go. So, coaching. So here's the thing with coaching, right? And instructional coaching. And this is for my instructional leaders out there in the world right now, who are feeling like, I see the coaching happening. We have the coaching in the school. I've got the instructional coaches. I have the APs. I have certain systems in place, but I don't really feel like the coaching is making a difference. Like I don't see the impact. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so a lot of times that is because, this is probably one of my former students. I have a strong feeling. Let's see. That is because coaching often fails over time. It just does, right? Like the busyness of a school year starts to outpace the effectiveness of your coaching. And so as a result, you start to feel like you're spinning wheels, right? So your coaching starts to fail over time. My son is my mom is my track coach. Okay. You begin to drift, right? The coaching begins to drift and change. And busyness starts to replace like precision of coaching, and it really becomes about activity. You start checking boxes, if that makes sense, right? You start checking boxes. You're not really coaching anymore. You're just like popping into rooms to say you did the tasks or like the things of coaching, but there's no like depth to the actual coaching. And so we call that coaching drift, right? And so at ECTD, we have a framework called coaching drift. And in that framework, and I'm going to go over it tonight though, but we allow you to kind of start thinking through like how to avoid that drift. And like, once you've done it, great. How do we restore instructional impact to make sure that that's happening? And I'm actually going to share with you guys the framework. So first thing is, drift looks like, so how do you know that you have drift in your coaching, right? So the way that you know that you have drift in your coaching is inconsistent feedback. Right? Meaning it can be from coach to teacher that the feedback is inconsistent, or it could be if you have multiple people coaching in your school, like coach to coach, the feedback is inconsistent, right? So that could mean like coach A gives really like thorough feedback, coach B hit or miss, right? Coaching loses focus. You're coaching anything and everything. You're being very reactive, not proactive. You're not looking at data to decide your coaching. Like it's just all over the place. And it's not happening consistently. And we know that in order for coaching to be effective, it has to happen consistently, right? Leaders and coaches are misaligned, meaning like your principal may have one vision for coaching and the coaches have another, and you guys are missing each other in translation. That can look like simple stuff like you've planned a PLC and then your boss is like, oh, well, tomorrow I cancel PLCs because everyone's burnt out. It's like, well, okay, maybe, but when was that conversation going to happen, right? So it can also look like your systems start to break down and communication around coaching starts to break down. The other, symptom of that is student outcomes stop driving decisions. So instead of thinking about your decisions as being what is student data telling us or what is best for kids, you start making decisions based upon adults, really, right? And so not based around what student outcomes tell you it should be. The key thing to realize here is that drift in coaching can be really, really subtle. You may look up and realize, oh my goodness, we have completely like gotten off track with the coaching plan that we set up at the beginning of the year. It happens every single day in classrooms. It happens every single day in school buildings and with our clients. And it's not because of people, it's not because intentional. It's just we stop looking at the systems and the checks and balances that we have. every single day, and we as leaders, we stop managing the coaching. I have a post recently about things that I micromanage and things that I don't. And I said, like, listen, I don't like to micromanage, but I will micromanage outcomes, right? And data. Those are things I am willing to micromanage so that I can see the clear path towards where we're going. So I am going to talk with you guys about how you actually restore that instructional impact. So I'm going to try something fancy. I'm going to see if I can pull up the framework, because it said I can do a little picture back here, but I'm scared because I've never done this a day in my life. Oh my God. Okay, here we are. All right, so I'm going to talk with you about coaching drift so you guys can see it. And I'm curious if I move myself around the screen what that looks like, but we're going to figure it out. All right, so this is the framework that we use for how you restore impact, okay? So first thing you want to do is when you notice like, oh my goodness, our coaching is not having an impact, and you recognize something's off, you've got to figure out where the drift actually happened. So where has coaching stopped changing the teaching, right? Is it in a certain grade band? Is it a certain subject? Is it a certain classroom? Or it could be a certain coach, right? It could be Coach A is rocking, but suddenly you're seeing a dip in Coach B, and that's where the drift actually lives, right? That's an option as well, but you have to first identify the drift. The second thing you want to do is think through the root cause of the gap, right? And so let's talk through this. So this is always going to be a skill, mindset, or systems issue. At my event, the Mid-Year Coaching Reset Live, we actually did a analysis of our teachers of like what actually is the gap, because all coaching gaps fall in one of those three, period. And oftentimes the reason our coaching isn't working is because we've misidentified the correct gap for that teacher. So you want to think through, and maybe I'll send out the checklist. Actually, if you buy the replay, you get the workbook and the checklist. So there you go. So you want to think through, is this a skill issue? Does my teacher have an issue with the actual implementation of the skill that I am coaching them on? Does my teacher have a mindset gap, meaning they have beliefs that are impacting or impeding our progress? Or is there a system failure? And a lot of times, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, a lot of times it's a system failure. A lot of times as leaders, we want people to do things and we don't have the ecosystem in place for them to do it. I'll give you an example. Hey, teachers are not planning properly. Okay, well also we have teachers covering lunch duty because we don't have a plan for that, or we have people out or whatever, so their planning is cut short because they're having to cover lunch duty. That is a systems failure. You can't expect people to, are you providing the space and the correct ecosystem and support for teachers to actually even attempt what you're asking them to do? The I is for identifying the highest leverage move. So like, you can't fix everything. When you're in a coaching drift, you got to pick one to two high level things. Hi, Janavia. I haven't been live in 2 years. I didn't even know if this live button worked, but here I am. So you want to talk through the highest leverage move, right? So if you're just joining us, we're talking about coaching drift. We're talking about the idea that over time, especially in busy schools, coaching drifts. It falls apart a little bit because our days and the pace of the school day starts to actually outpace our systems, and we didn't do like a check on our systems. You thought it was an accident. I was on here by accident. We don't check our systems. It's kind of like in a car, right? After a while, you need to go tune that thing up, right? You have to go get the oil change. You got to rotate them tires. That's about all I know about a car, right? You have to do that. So if you don't do that, you're going to start drifting off the road. The cars start falling apart. We don't check our systems enough, our coaching systems enough. And then we look up in March, February, sometimes October, depending how the year went. And we're like, oh my God, our coaching is a mess, right? So D, diagnose the drift. Where did the coaching stop working? What is the cause? Is it skill, mindset, or systems? We just talked a second ago about a lot of times it's systems. Sometimes leaders, it's you. It's the systems that you didn't do or you're ignoring, okay? Identify the highest leverage move. One thing, maybe two. But you can't, at that point, if your coaching has drifted, you're not trying to fix everything at once. The next thing is focus the coaching cycle. So this is when, and if you were at Mid-Year Coaching Reset Live, we talked about this. This is where you're planning a 4 to 6 week quick coaching cycle, because you need a tight, short cycle that's evidence-based to get back on track. You are steering that car back onto the path, right? So that may look like, okay, I'm going to plan a 6 week cycle for my 5th grade band, right? around looking at student work and aggressive monitoring. And I'm going to coach them for 6 weeks really quickly on that and getting that skill up and running, right? So you want to, if your coaching has drifted, you want to go back to like really quick, fast coaching cycles, 4 to 6 weeks, okay? Also, if you buy the Mid-Year Coaching Reset Live Replay, I have a whole template for planning those coaching cycles. And then lastly, what is it if we're not tracking the data, right? So we want to track the impact in real time. Student work and teacher and is over teacher intention. Listen, I have a post I did recently about like, listen, A for effort, but baby, I need the students to have an A, okay? So that means, right? That means you want to be looking at student data. Because remember I talked about one of the keys, one of the symptoms of drift is that student outcomes stop being what the driving force in our decisions. And so we want to make sure in that drift that we are looking at student data in those 4 to 6 week coaching cycles. 4 to 6 week coaching cycles. So again, this is the framework that one of our frameworks that we use at Erinn Cotman Teacher Development to identify when someone says, hey, coaching is not happening and you need a quick fix to get it back on track. We use this framework to help our clients get back on track quickly with what they're supposed to be doing. How do I don't know how to, okay, stop sharing. Boop. Okay, good. I figured it out. That was fun, right? So here's what I want you guys to do. We are coming in April. We are having a webinar, and the webinar is around this concept of I am coaching, the coaching systems are happening, and I am not seeing the outcomes. And what school leaders and instructional leaders and instructional coaches need to do to ensure that their coaching programs and systems are actually running. Now is the time to be thinking about SY 26-27, right? And how are you going to make sure that you are thinking about the end of this year, summer planning, to make sure that you are set up for success to be able to hit the ground running with your instructional coaching and support. We know that teachers need it. We know that it's one of the key levers to teacher retention and to student outcomes is the support of teachers. You can register at the link in my bio. It's absolutely free. We are doing it I think it's Tuesday in April. Sign up, join me, spread the word to someone you think may need it. We're going to go over coaching drift again. We're going to show you our other frameworks, and we're super excited that you will come and hang out with us in April. Also, we are allowing folks to book free instructional alignment calls. So what that means is you book a call with me for free. We hop on the phone for 30 minutes. We talk through like, here's what's happening in my school or my class or my department, right? Here's the issue we're facing. Here's what my data says, and I help you identify a quick instructional coaching move that's going to help make the difference for you. And so that's a free call. You can book that also at the link in my bio. Those are instructional alignment calls where we help you kind of strategize. You get to open my brain for a little bit and get to strategize around how to improve the instructional coaching in your building quickly. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I think I'm probably going live next week. We'll see. All right, y'all.